So I finally finished this spin. 2 bobbins are done. Since I do not have time to start the ply and finish it, I am going to finish it next week and finish the yarn, and hopefully you can see what it looks like. So that's very exciting. Here's one bobbin, beautiful. Can't wait to see how they look together. I also wanted to show you the sashiko embroidery that I was working on my pants. I'm wearing them today, and I still have to do the other side and kind of do some fixes on this side. There it is. So cute. I love it so much. I would like to do a little bit more over here on this side, and then I'm going to do the other side eventually as well. And when I'm done, I will show you what they both look like. But so far, I love this side so much. Also, I just threw it into my washing machine to wash off the stick-on transfer thing, and it did not stain the thread at all. So very happy about that. So I got some pansies. They're so beautiful. Some maroon, bluish purple, and yellow. And I'm gonna pop them into here. Wow. And I got these anemones, which are so beautiful. One of the houses by the garden has these growing, and I always think they're so stunning. So I got some purple and white ones. I'm gonna plant the rest of the pansies in this thing, which has strawberries. I don't know if the strawberries are alive. The weather, well, we didn't really have a winter in Denver at all, but the weather is super nice now, and technically it's spring. So I'm really getting into the mood of gardening, planting things. And I did a little rearranging of the balcony yesterday. I guess we'll see if these strawberries pop up as I water things. I also got some seeds. I got German chamomile, sweet basil, Greek oregano, and Italian parsley. So I'm gonna plant some right now because why not? So I know chamomile just needs to be sprinkled on top. So I'm just gonna sprinkle on top a whole bunch, the whole packet. And this is parsley. Parsley usually does well out here. This is oregano, which it says just barely cover. So I'm just gonna kind of tap the soil. Hope that works. And basil will go right over here. Alrighty, well, I guess we'll see how these all grow. Okay, so I'm going to be dyeing some Aida cloth just for a project. And right now I need to soak it in soda ash fixer. So I rinsed this with some dish soap and it's damp, and I'm going to mix in this soda ash into some warm water that I have in this pan. It says to do 1 cup per gallon, and I did half a gallon, so I'm gonna do half a cup. Also, apparently this is like a really bad eye irritant and it's very dusty. So I'm gonna step away. I should probably have like goggles on, but I don't have any. Whoops. And I'm probably gonna decant this soda ash into a jar because I don't know what else to do with it. Alrighty, I'm gonna pour this into the water and let it dissolve. Oh, kind of got hard, which is weird. That took a while to dissolve. I feel like a whisk would work better, but I do not have a whisk that is specifically for dyeing. I only have the spoon. You probably wouldn't want to use a whisk that you also use for food. So keep that in mind when you're using utensils, when you're dyeing. So now I'm gonna take my Aida cloth and set it in here, and I'm gonna let it soak for 30 minutes. While that is soaking, I'm gonna give you a little cross stitch update. These are the peaches that I'm working on. This is the pattern. I'm working on the top panel. All I have to do is the vine around the border, and then I'll be done with this panel and I'm gonna start a new project, which is why I'm dyeing the Aida cloth. I figured I would do a panel, do a small cute project, do another panel, do another project, and so on, just so I don't get burnt out on this one because there are 6 panels and it takes a while. But I did the back stitching. It's kind of hard to tell, but I'll put up a before and after picture to show you the difference the back stitching makes. Without the back stitching, it looks a little flat, and then you add in the back stitching to really make things pop, like these branches and the leaves and all of that. So beautiful. Right now I'm doing these leaves and vines. So I did the vines and now I'm working on the leaves, which are just satin stitch. So I'm going in to 1 hole and then about 2 squares over, I'm going through a hole over there, if that makes sense. So it's a little long and makes like a leaf shape, and I am alternating colors with dark green, light green, and so on. And that's all I have to do to complete the peaches. Very nice. Ooh, it looks so beautiful. I love it. I'm so happy with it. I cannot wait for this thing to be finished because it's going to be stunning. The next one in the panel are going to be grapes, which looks a little difficult. So it has been 30 minutes and I'm going to dump this out and wring out the Aida cloth. I'm not gonna rinse it, I'm just going to wring it out. I'm gonna lay my fabric, there we go. And I kind of want it to be like mottled looking or textured looking. So I'm gonna kind of scrunch it kind of like that, I guess. I don't really know, but we're gonna see how this looks. And I wanna do a shiitake mushroom, which is a brown. This is reactive dye and this will work on cotton, which is what this Aida cloth is. I'm gonna dissolve 1/4 teaspoon into 1 cup of water, and then I'm gonna pour it on. This is what it looks like. So I'm gonna just pour it on, I guess, a little bit at a time. It might be a little dark, so I'm gonna dump some of this out and pour a little bit more water into it. See if that helps. I think that's all I'm gonna do because I really wanna do a little bit of purple, like lilac, and just do a very small amount and maybe hit all the white spots or the lighter spots. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. And this one is lilac. I really only want it to be kind of on these areas, but it's kind of difficult. I might just kind of paint it on with my finger. I think this is all I'm gonna do with the purple. I think you can leave this up to 24 hours. You just wanna wrap it in something like plastic wrap. I don't have plastic wrap, so I'm gonna figure out something else. But I believe the minimum is 8 hours to 24 hours. I'm gonna check it at 8 hours because I'm impatient. So I guess I'll see you in about 8 hours from now. So it has been about 8 hours and I'm gonna take this bag off of it. It's definitely gotten darker, so I'm gonna take this out and I'm going to rinse it until the water runs clear, and then I'm gonna dry it overnight. Okay, so this is what it looks like when it's wet. I definitely wanted it to be a little bit more subtle in color, but it is very bright, which is fine. I'm still gonna use it, but that's how it's turned out. I'll show you what it looks like in the morning after it's dry. Okay, so are you ready to see the Aida cloth? Yesterday it looked so dark and it dried very light, which I'm happy with. Here, maybe that side's better. So these lighter parts were kind of like lifted up, and I think next time I'm not gonna have like parts that are lifted up like that. I'm gonna make sure it's flat, but still has some crinkling in there. I'm still gonna use this, of course. I think it's gonna add to the design. It is mostly purple, I would say, which I just wanted a little bit of purple, so not so much purple next time. I think it was a super simple project. It was really easy. The only issue is I'm impatient, so waiting 8 to 24 hours is a bit much for me, but this is after 8 hours and it looks really good. If I waited 24 hours, it would be much, much darker and I probably would not like the results. The science behind it all is you soak it in the soda ash fixer, and then when you put the dye in, the dye fixes itself to the soda ash, I guess. And the longer you wait, the more the dye can bond to the fabric. So after 8 hours, if you're thinking that it looks too too dark, just know that it might lighten about, I don't know, 20 to 40%. So kind of visualize it like that. But if you're really wanting like a super deep, bold colors, wait the full 24 hours, especially if you're doing like a solid color. I'm very excited to dye more Aida cloth. I have a bunch and I have a large folder of patterns to do. And I would love to continue dyeing Aida cloth for those projects. So it's not just on a boring white or cream fabric. I think it's really fun to kind of add some dimension and something in the background of the project. So I am actually going to get started today on my new project. I will pop it up on the screen over here. I am doing a colorfully Sarah. I think that's the name. I will pop it up on the screen as well, but I bought this one a little bit ago and I really love it. I also bought two more from her. One is a Stardew Valley themed one, and then the other one is pigeons, but like colorful and neon and stuff. It's really fun. So those projects I will do at a later time, who knows. Also, I want to mention I did cut this Aida cloth, so it is fraying. So I do recommend if you cut your Aida cloth, finish the edges before you dye it. It's going to help out a lot. And I'm definitely going to be finishing these before I start. I'll probably do that right now on my sewing machine. It just helps so much and it's way better than taping. So those are my thoughts and feelings about dyeing Aida cloth. I hope the project looks really good on this. We'll see. I don't know. I wanted to show you how this cross stitch is looking, and this is how much I've done so far. It's only been like 2.5 nights of stitching. It's so cute. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to finish this and see how it's gonna look on this cloth. Very lovely. I will definitely be showing you more updates of this as I work on it. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.